What is this about? The Aboriginals of America are revising history. So this first paper is clipping from the Pittsburgh Daily Post, um, December 9th, 1878. And what I want to point out is how they're making this distinction between Black Indians, regular Indians, white Indians, and how these Black Indians are Black Indians by treaty, not by blood. And that treaty is the 1866 treaty. Now, this is history. These are all things that we can go and look up. Let's read what it says at the bottom. The Black Indians by treaty are the freedmen who were held by these tribes as slaves. It will be seen by the above table that the mixed bloods is increasing very fast. So like I said, this is from 1878. Let's go to something else. So this paper is from the Reno Gazette Journal, April 11th, 1927. So these are just witnesses to what these Abos say never happened. It said, Colored Church hears ex-slave. Members of the Bethel AME Church, African Methodist Episcopal Church, colored, will hear of the experiences of Dr. Alonzo Scott when he was a slave in the South before the Civil War. Scott speaks at the church tonight on his experiences of the former Negro Indian slave. Dr. Scott has been lecturing before the public for 40 years as a humorist and entertainer, and he tells many humorous stories of old plantation days and also sings. He will also speak tomorrow night. So there's a history here. Black people always been a part of this history. Talk about what happened. This paper is from the Los Angeles Times, April 13th, 1975. I might be speeding because I'm just going to get in and out of here quick, because this is pointless, really, at this point, because these people are denying what's actually written in history. And it's just weird. Like, they'll never show you Black people who say what they say. And then they want to play the word games with, well, who's Black? What does Black mean? We know who we're talking about. We're talking about the people of America that always been called Black, Negro, African American. So this one says Blacks carry on a Creek Indian history. Yeah, y'all the Black Creeks. Y'all say y'all Creeks. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of Black people have Indian ancestry. Nothing wrong with it. Black Indian Charles Davis, 92, a Creek freedman, stands by Indian head plaques in Haskell, Oklahoma, in his home. So you see the Indian head plaques behind. Right? So let's see what he says. So let's just read. There was a knock at the door of Reverend Charles Davis. Shinda called out the 92-year-old Black man. One of two Black men on the front porch replied, Umba H.E.I. The preacher opened the door and welcomed his two friends into the home. He greeted the men in the Creek Indian language. Shinda, who is it? They have answered, Umba Achi, we've come to eat, a traditional response of Creeks when visiting friends. While the Creek language, the three men are Black Indians of mixed Indian and Negro blood. There goes that distinction between Negro and Indian. There are pockets of them scattered throughout the United States. In Delaware, there are known as the Forgotten Moors in Louisiana, North Carolina, red bones. Mr. Davis, for the past 50 years, the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Haskell, 25 miles south of Tulsa, is one of approximately 1,000 Creek freedmen, as the Black Indians are called in northwestern Oklahoma. So these are the people y'all say y'all are, right? These are the Creeks. These Indians that y'all say y'all are of the past. Well, they tell a different story. He's 92 in 1975. So what does that make him? He was born in what, 1883? 84, 80, something like that. So he knows this history, right? So he says, Creek Indians brought their Negro slaves with them when they moved from Georgia and Alabama to Indian Territory in 1828. Yes, Indians had slaves just as the whites did. So how do y'all deny this? So they said the Indians had these black slaves just like the white men. I don't get it. We can go down a couple paragraphs. What do you say? You say Black Indians, Creek Negroes, who never intermarried with the Indians, were all given the same allotment as full-blooded Creeks. So there goes that distinction. This denying this, that there's two sets of people, and Negro being the people of African descent. It just started like recently. This is a new thing because, like I said, the people of yesteryear, they don't say what y'all say. This paper's from Rapid City Journal, November 1st, 1998. So these are the eyewitnesses. These are the people who y'all say y'all come from, right? See this black man? Don Little Cloud Davenport, left, co-founder of the Black Native American Association, carries a walking stick with his family's long history carved in Oklahoma, California. Linda Smith Wright, a member of the association founded in 1994, right? Black Indians share heritage. So this first side, they just talk about how they got together. They went to a couple powwows. They noticed they was not like the other Indians, and there wasn't that many Black Indians, so they decided to create their own association. Right? We started to exchange phone numbers, Davenport said. And then we decided, oh, well, we might as well start us a group. Right? They identify that there is, different people. Right? Let's go here. We try to focus on the wholeness of ourselves, the African American part, the Native part, Davenport said. Like this, they understand their history. Some people like to say, so let's go down here to this paragraph right here. Some people like to say, you're not really Indian, says Roy Niemer, who traces her ancestry to Cherokee grandmother who moved to Emporia, Kansas, not long after the turn of the century. But if you study history, you'll find we were here before slavery. I've been dancing and going to powwow since I was a child, and Indians who are African American are much more usual than you would think. It was an African American. Go to this next paper. Austin American Statesman, September 12th, 1993. So I still ask, so if these abos have what they say they have, this long history, so where is it? Where are the people saying, oh, they didn't come from Africa? So you got these people saying, yeah, they're African. They're using African, Black, Negro synonymously. We're not going to act like and play any type of word games. So it says here, the truth is that there has always been Black Indians. We are the proof of that. See this black man? What does he have to say? It says Brackettville in the southwest Texas town near the Mexican border, William Dub Warrior and Charles Emily Wilson tend the burial grounds of their ancestors, Seminoles who migrated more than a century ago from Florida. Warrior and Wilson are the keepers of an extraordinary history. So these are the history keepers. But I guess y'all will try to say, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Said, what was that? Of an extraordinary history, once nearly lost to the ravages of times. They are African Seminoles, Black Indians. See, African and Black being used synonymously. So we're not going to play this word game. Whose forebearers, Georgian and Carolinian Blacks, so Blacks, they're using that as a synonym for African also, fled to the Florida swamps in the 17th and 18th century to escape slavery, something y'all say that didn't happen. They like to say it happened only to white people, which is weird. Like, I understand that, the history is rough and we don't have to become liars and make shit up just to make ourselves feel good. That's a whole nother type of complex or some emotional, mental state that they need to come head on instead of running from. But they are Black Indians whose forebearers, like I said, 17th to 18th century to escape slavery in the British territories. In Florida, they mixed with the Creek Indians. So they're saying a distinction. These are two different people. You got Africans coming in meeting with Creeks. The Creek Indians, these Africans who escaped from slavery. People say there is no such thing as Black Indians, said Warrior, who has Seminole cousins in Nacimiento, Mexico. The truth is that there have always been Black Indians. We are the proof of that, says Wilson. My grandfather was a red Seminole. So here go a distinction. Red, he married a Black and African. That's what our people are, red and Black. Two different things. So you can be of that ancestry and have a long history. But that don't mean you don't have any African ancestry also. You need to stop running from that. Each year, I should go to page 10. Let me go to page 10. See what else is going on. Because they said something else I wanted to point out. The same paper, page 10. See, you got a nice little map over here. Florida eventually became a source for Black slaves. Seminoles were relocated under federal program to move Native Americans to reservations in the West. Blacks in the late 17th century fled to escape slavery in Florida. They intermarried with Creek Indians. So I don't see the problem. And this is the lady Wilson, Charles Emily Wilson. That's the one that said her forebearers were red and Black. So, yeah, I wanted to read this right here. So they celebrate Juneteenth, Texas Emancipation Day. They hid their Afro Creole language called Gullah. They chanted in the, they took one thing. All right, here we go. Texas Seminoles who call themselves Black Indians are descendants of Creek Indians and former slaves who migrated from Florida. That dual heritage has caused an identity crisis of sorts. I told y'all, identity crisis. They were saying it back here in 1993, claiming their American Indian heritage could risk their Blackness, while Native Americans largely don't view themselves as real Indians. I am Black, but I am also Seminole, said William Dub Warrior. We have blood from both cultures running through our veins. See, They have no problem making these distinctions. They understand it. This was a good article. They talk about a lot of the history that they had. And just like back then, they was talking about it. When you tell people that you are African Seminole, they are surprised to learn that. The surprise is that they don't believe Indians had slaves. Some people, it's not as broadcast as it was with the Europeans. But we got to remember, Indians made treaties to be admitted, or however you pronounce that word, with the whatever government was in that area when it was colonies, or even when it became the United States government. And part of that is going along with the program, right? It says John Horse of African and American Indian heritage descent led 500 Native Americans, 300 Africans to Mexican border in 1849, according to Hancock and others' report. So, yeah. That's pretty much what's done with the article. I don't know. I probably went too fast or something, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. I just want to know, why are these American Aboriginals rewriting history? Why are they making up history? Why? How come they can't produce any people that say what they say? It's just real weird to me. I don't get it, and I challenge them that they want to do diversion tactics, talk about everything else they can't prove. And then when they're challenged on their genealogy or something, they say, oh, it's personal. It's personal. It just doesn't make no sense. But, it's not a coincidence. The conscious community is not so conscious. It's not a coincidence that you have people who are afraid to be who they are. Some people think that we took a real beating in America. But if that was the case, we wouldn't be in the situation we are today. Like, we fought back from the very beginning to the end. We just had a lot of people against us. And even now, they turned it to we against our own selves. But that's it. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna put those newspaper articles in the description if anybody want to go look at it. But I'm out.